We're going to start our meeting. Tonight is the Thursday, October 9th, 2025 Monroe Planning Board regular meeting. It's workshop, no?
Yeah, I know. I
Okay.
didn't realize it till later.
Roll call, please.
Bonnie France.
Here.
Here.
What about Dylan? His isn't working. It just lit up.
How about now? Okay.
He says he's on his way.
All right. Point out fire exits. There are the fire exits behind the audience that you can exit from the main door to my left, and then there's a patio door in that direction. With that, let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, returning projects, Henry Farm, if you'd come on up. Good evening.
Good evening. Vince Peterzak.
John Dahlgren from Tim Miller.
Gardiner Barone attorney, Bluestein Shapiro, Franken Barone for the applicant.
So why don't you give us an overview of what you submitted, where we are to date, and then we'll go through our consultant comments after that.
We resubmitted the plans, making some minor modifications, which I went through in my cover letter. And we resubmitted the consistency statement. The key thing, I think, the difference where we're looking at things than your consultants is we feel that SECRA's been completed for the project and that the well testing that was previously completed for SECRA is enough to satisfy the consistency analysis. We're going to be using substantially less water, about 10% of what the wells produce. We don't feel that there's going to be any impacts with future testing of the wells, and we don't feel it's necessary to get the well testing mixed up for the agencies in with the consistency analysis. That appears from review of your MHE comments and your attorney's comments to really be the only issue that's outstanding between us and your consultants. There were some issues with the charts for the consistency analysis and the chart requested for the SWIP analysis for the stormwater, which we'll submit, and we'll get the other charts revised also.
And I'll just comment on the well issue also, since we were involved with the original well testing and getting the DEC permits for water supply, the water supply permit. And I just want to make the point that in terms of environmental impact, we made a point and we provided a letter kind of going through the potential issues of the well testing and water supply, potential impacts to neighbors and their wells, and the issue of the water quality testing. Those are all kind of addressed in the finding statement and in the water supply permit by the DEC, which required sentry wells, and this is all pushed into the future when the actual wells come into production. Sentry wells to make sure that there's no influence from the landfill, and in terms of potential impacts to the neighboring wells, there was no impact found during the initial testing, and we don't suspect that because we're requiring much less water, there's going to be any future impact to neighboring wells. So I think in terms of looking at the secret impacts of the wells, we feel they've been addressed by the findings and by the existing permit that was issued by DEC. And as far as the town's involvement in the future testing, we'll certainly copy the town and involve the town in any the future well testing that's going to be required by DEC and the health department. So that's our take on things.
And just to bring you up to speed on where we are at with that, I met with a well driller, Chuck Crover of Work Well Drilling, 2 weeks ago. We walked the site, showed him where the wells were, and he's going to be preparing a proposal for us to do the testing. Now, he's booked up until spring sometime, so we do not anticipate getting the testing completed probably for another 6 months at best. Work Well Drilling, Chuck Crover. No one else that we could find.
And this also involves just the logistics of the well testing, getting a hydrologist engaged, preparing a well monitoring plan or well pump test plan. So it's quite a few steps, and then once the testing is done, which should take about a week physically to do the testing, there's the analysis of the groundwater, the analysis of the pump test results, preparing reports back and forth with the agencies, the DEC and the health department. So we are looking at a substantial timeline to complete the work.
If I may. So I think we can all agree that this project is smaller in scope than what was approved originally. It doesn't have the senior housing that it used to have, and it has fewer residential units are being proposed. So presumably the level of consumption per approved unit is going to be lower because there's fewer units. And also, I don't understand that between the last approval and when the well testing was done previously and presently, that there's any really known environmental factor that's changed relative to this project or the surrounding areas. At least none's been pointed out in any of the documents prepared by your consultants that I've reviewed. The one apparent meaningful change is a regulatory change, different water testing standards and requirements. Well, we all know that regulations do change from time to time, but that doesn't invalidate a secret determination, number one. Number two, we all know that regardless of what level of approval we get tonight, next month, and the next 3 months, whether it's a preliminary or conditional final approval, one of those conditions will be water testing to meet the requirements of outside agencies. So the water is going to be tested. It's going to be tested to the satisfaction of the requirements of the outside agencies that do have preemptive jurisdiction over these matters. And if the water doesn't pass those tests, the project stops. So it's not like adopting a consistency statement now or in the very near future is going to somehow let the cat out of the bag, and you'll never be able to get us back if we don't satisfy those requirements. So again, I point out that what we have is not an environmental change. We have a project that is less in its intensity, it's fewer units. An entire significant component of the project's been eliminated, the senior housing. So logically, there's going to be less water being used than before. And, sorry, but the requirements have changed. That's not on us. It's not on you, it's on these outside agencies, but that doesn't invalidate the prior secret determination, and it doesn't indicate that those prior tests are invalid. But we will satisfy what we need to satisfy as conditions of the approval.
Real quick, just my information, wetlands, state regulated wetlands, was that done already?
Yes, there's no state-regulated wetlands on site.
You had submitted the determination from New York State DEC?
Yes, there were 2 letters, both one to me and one to Tim Miller.
Okay, the official one from the state that says, okay, thank you. Why don't we go to Matt's comments first, and then we'll go over Ashley's comments.
Sure. Item 2 in my memo, the first bulleted item, as Vince said, they've amended the SWIP. They've performed the revisions in accordance with the previous permit as ordered in the stipulation. My only comment here is that the SWIP contains the analysis showing the reduction in stormwater runoff. I just recommend that the consistency analysis pull those tables from the SWIP, put them right in the analysis so it's clear. There's numbers there to support the statement that runoff has been reduced to below the previous impact. I believe that's already done. It's just
Quick, I don't know if you address it later, your conversation with DEC. We had a question about the speedies, since you're on stormwater.
Yep, correct. We did discuss with DEC, I think that question had come up. We discussed with DEC the continuing coverage. You know, it is kind of weird that you have a 2010 permit that gets continued through. And DEC's position is that as long as revisions to the project reduce the scope of the project, reduce impervious, that is still eligible for continuing coverage. So the letter that's provided to that effect is good and consistent with what DEC's told us.
Right, so we had just had the question, it's been so long, we wanted Matt to communicate with DEC just to make sure that there wasn't an expectation, since you still had coverage, that somehow you had to meet the new GP requirement, and that was confirmed by DEC.
Okay.
My second bulleted item there was the status of the well testing and discussing that with the board's hydrologist. Third bulleted item, we reached out to Orange County DPW. There was a question about the alignment of the project entrance with the Camp Monroe Road. DPW got back to me this afternoon and indicated that that's still an open comment from them. I don't know if, I think Chris said he was also going to reach out to you potentially. I don't know if he did yet, but his concern was with the alignment. And he just would like a response to that and potentially how that could be addressed. It may be through realignment, it may be through something else, but that's still an open comment that they have. Yep. Second or next item there was we also discussed traffic studies, the status of those, and whether DPW would be looking for anything to supplement that. And his response was, at this time, they don't feel any additional traffic studies are required.
So from Orange County DPW, is it, you spoke with Chris?
Chris Callahan, yep.
Is it their expectation that the applicant's engineer will reach out to them about the design of that, and whether the realignment's needed, or that there'll be something coming from them?
Yeah, his comment to me was that they would like a response from the applicant regarding that comment.
Yes, we received comments from the Orange County DPW, which the board has a copy of, and that was one of them, which will be addressed.
So that's, at this point, it sounds like it's in your court as far as just resolving what the improvement will be there, so we know whether it remains consistent or whether there's a change. But definitely, it sounded like they weren't looking for any traffic impact analysis. So they just want to resolve the design aspect of it.
Correct.
Okay.
And to take it a step further, if you look at the previous secret findings statement, you'll see that some of the mitigation measures include a traffic light at the intersection, which currently exists. So that would come off the mitigation as part of the traffic consideration.
You're talking about the light down by LaRue?
Yes,
Okay.
LaRue and Lakes Road.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the last bulleted item I had dealt with the correspondence from the fire district. They noted that the minimum flow and pressure there was obtained, but they indicated that if they had to do a longer hose lay, they might require a relay pump to be installed. I just request at some point in the process, maybe go back and take a look at the main size from the tank down to the loop. I think it's about 700 feet. Maybe increasing that from 8 to 10 or 8 to 12 might resolve that concern with the flow and pressure.
We'll run those analysis while we're doing submissions to the health department as the agency review, and we'll submit it to the engineer for review. But again, we meet the fire flows, so that shouldn't hold up the consistency analysis for the project.
I'll defer to our engineer whether that's necessary, and we'll talk to our attorney too.
As the
It doesn't sound like it's an issue to change the piping if it's necessary. You said the fire flow's there, so if it's a matter of,
The fire chief said that we meet the fire flows, but he
Okay.
would like us to do a further analysis to see if we could increase pressures, which we're willing to provide
okay,
when we're doing the other health department responses.
comments?
yes,
So Ashley has a memo for us that we can go through these. Do you have a copy there?
Yes.
Okay. So, table of contents, she just has some minor, it looks like formatting issues.
Actually, if you have her red line copy, it makes it more expeditious. It goes right to page 2. There you go. That's
Yeah.
her first, I think, comment
Yeah.
of which that we're going to submit that chart.
Okay. Talked about that.
Yep.
And then,
On to page 4. And this is where we
this
had.
is the well testing.
Yes, yes.
So Ashley is essentially saying this is consistent with the scope of review that was set forth in the planning board's letter. I think that was all agreed to, I thought. And so I think she's indicating it should be done. She's indicating that was agreed to as part of the scope. I think if there's a discussion regarding that, then we need to have that, and maybe the two attorneys can communicate about that. But, from my perspective, groundwater was in seeker, and so we're trying to determine consistency. I agree that overall, I think that the gallonage, it seems like it's less. I don't know as far as household sizes, but I still think it would be less because of the fact you removed the seniors and the total unit count has gone down. But it's, when was the last water quality test done? When was the last water supply test done,
the
the
data
actual
mentioned
pump test?
It was around 2003, 4 when we did the testing, so it's a long time ago, yes.
Yeah, and so I appreciate that you're having difficulties finding people, but at the same time, this is 20 years old now, the data. And so I think that was why it was embodied in this consistency analysis. And I don't know if there's a middle ground. I don't know what that middle ground would be, if there are difficulties right now getting people to do a pump test. So, you know, I don't think a water quality test, there's anything stopping you from doing that. You should be able to do a water quality test, correct?
No, because you got to pump the wells.
You can't just-
You can't just take a sample and test it.
So the sample has to be done after the pumping?
Correct.
Okay,
Towards, I forget the exact requirement, but it is towards the tail end of the pump duration. And I don't remember if that's an hour from it or 8 hours, but it's into the pump test.
okay. It's not that someone can come out just for, whether it's an hour or 8 hours and do it?
No, and bail the well for a period of time and then take it. It's incorporated into the pump test.
Okay,
Plus, there's no pumps in these wells.
Yeah.
So we need, drop
have
it
to
in.
drop them in, and
Yeah.
I don't know whether it was anticipated that there would have to do off-site monitoring wells, or if this was just simply a flow, just to verify flow and water quality at this point.
We're not anticipating monitoring any wells
Off-site,
off-site. When we
okay.
did the previous testing,
Yep.
we tested to the maximum capability of the wells for the simple fact that the town wanted a connection to other areas, like
Right.
Carroll Drive, that was short on water supply. So we pumped to the maximum amount we could get. Now, and there were no detrimental wells that were affected by our test. Now, like I said, we're going to pump minimal amount just to show we have enough capacity for the project. So there's not going to be any impact.
Only particular constituent that's now coming up for water quality testing is, I guess, potentially PFAS. But you have to do the water quality testing to do that.
Correct.
And the only reason the potential exists here is just because you had the landfill, in the vicinity, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it'll get drawn. We just don't know. It's a big question mark.
Right.
Did Jeff, you want to add?
Yeah, I have, from where we were at when the original seeker was done and the original well testing, and that original plan with the senior housing, on the single-family homes, is there a change? I know we went from 66 to 70, but is there a change in the size of those units or the bedroom count?
No, same size, same
So it's the
bedroom count.
same units that were originally proposed
That
from the
received
original
approval.
seeker analysis? Okay,
Correct.
thanks.
You mean the same bedroom count per unit?
Yes, that's what I'm,
Yeah, so it's not as if the bedroom count has gone up, it's gone down.
Overall, correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because the units have changed, but I think you were trying to hold to the comparable bedroom number in general. You
Yeah, it was
weren't-
the same
and the
four-bedroom.
And the footprint had to stay the same, correct?
Correct, there's a size limitation on the plan.
Yeah.
I think there's notes on sheet 1 that cover bedroom count, footprint size, and then total square footage of the unit, excluding unfinished basements, garages, and outdoor areas like decks, I think.
Because that's actually what we require in all our subdivisions these days. All right, so, this is something that has to get addressed. I think there have to be some additional discussions between now and perhaps our next meeting.
So who's your
and-
current attorney?
Ashley Torrey,
Is she still your attorney?
yes.
Okay.
She may not be available after December until a few months, but she is at the moment. She just can't attend the meetings,
Okay.
okay? But this has to get resolved one way or the other. the well testing, that was again another consideration. We talked about Orange County DPW. Find a particular note with regard to the impacts to Indiana bat and northern long-eared bat. She wasn't sure if she missed it or where the revised note appears.
I think that's
Indian-
tucked in,
Endangered species
Yeah.
notes on sheet
Okay.
1.
It is on sheet 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
there's a lot of notes on sheet 1, so it blends in.
The analysis recommended in MHE's comments during modification of the proposed system can provide increased flow and pressure. So we just talked about that. That had to do with the fire department, correct?
Yep.
Correct, yep.
And comment address, fiscal analysis. I think there were some revisions that still need to be made to the fiscal.
Correct. I think maybe a table was not corrected, or it was the wrong table in the copy that was submitted, but we can correct that.
Okay. So I have a quick question in terms of the rec fee and open space. Is there going to be a conservation easement on the open space? And I didn't think it was going to be used for any kind of active recreation, but, or, you know, I don't know if there's a trail or et cetera, but it's not being counted toward rec fees, is it? Because I think you had a cluster development, so the open space was part of the cluster, I thought.
So in the original finding statement and in the stipulation, there's specific parcels that are going to be dedicated to the town. And so, and it's a lot of land. It's
Was it for recreation, or was it just for open space? What
for
was dedicated for?
open space.
Okay.
And there's one parcel, which is the parcel on the, I think, the small lot that was specifically dedicated for recreation. But that was like 0.7 acres.
Okay.
And that was a connection between the development and the solar farm property.
Was that in the stipulation, or was that just part of the original development?
That was the original development. That was specified as recreation,
Okay.
dedication for recreation.
So I think we still need some input today from the town board, whether that's still needed, or if has there been any discussion with the town board on that? We could reach out to them. I just wanted to get a sense from you whether you've reached out or not.
They're the one that chose this layout, and it was on the layout that we
Right, for
designed.
the stipulation.
Correct.
Right.
So we're just going with it.
Okay, I'll find out, because I was trying to,
And that's not going to delay a consistency determination because it's not a secra issue.
I think it's useful in the consistency that it's going to be Y or whatever, not that, I don't think this is going to hold things up. I just want to know
Okay.
what the purpose is, and then was that intended, or does the town board have different thoughts? I just want to know.
There's no harm in knowing. There's harm in delay.
Yeah, I think the big delay item is obviously the well testing.
Would it be best for the town attorney, planning board attorney, and our attorney to converse?
Maybe, and then
Over
maybe
these
maybe
issues?
even the hydrogeologist too. I think we just need to resolve this.
And I do want to add, I think it would be helpful for the hydrogeologist, Weston and Sampson, to weigh in on just the technical merits and what the kind of the potential impacts would be, you know, in terms of environmental. And there's a lot of documentation on the wells in the record and in the consistency analysis we provided here, and also in the finding statement and the existing permit from that's now expired from the DEC.
So I think in terms of process, we obviously have to finish the seeker so we can open the public hearing. We still have to do GML review. I think we're pretty close to, the GML review in theory is supposed to have the EAF or whatever. I don't know whether we need that since this went through seeker previously. We could give them the draft of the seeker consistency, so let me talk to Ashley if she thinks it would be prudent to do the GML now. I don't know that there's gonna be significant revisions at this point. I think at one point Ashley had talked about she wanted the new and the old zoning shown on the plan for informational purposes. Did that get added?
Yes, that was one of the revisions on this last submission.
Okay. And it definitely shows dwelling, you said, it shows dwelling unit size and bedroom
Yes.
size at this point.
Correct. There's 3 or 4 notes in a row. One lists square footage, the next one I think lists bedrooms, and then one talks about the size of the footprint that was utilized in the drainage analysis.
Okay.
Yep.
We have to reach out. I thought Clough Harbor and Dave Tompkins was done with wetland delineations and reviews. I'm not sure where that stands. Didn't he see it already? Did he go out? I thought he was
Yes.
there with Steve.
Yes, they did go out. We had gotten comments. We haven't gotten any new comments on this last submission.
I know he had been out there with Steve. We talked about speedies, we talked about DPW. There's certain things that'll need to be addressed, but they're gonna be more subdivision-type comments, showing sidewalks or talking to town board, but that's all subdivision stuff and design. So, as I said, I think at this point, I'm gonna talk to Ashley, see if we can at least get the GML going. And, but I think we have to address this water supply issue, because there's been
Water supply or quality?
both. And if there's an in-between, we need to resolve it, because it's been a request for a while, it hasn't happened. Now we have, I don't know whether you had early on had requested it, or when Weston and Sampson had requested it, from a timing perspective.
Well, the board requested the testing. However, we were not going to do any testing till we got comments back from the Orange County Health Department, who has the jurisdiction on it. That's what we waited for.
Now we have Orange County Health Departments?
Comments, yes.
Okay.
And
But now that you have the comments, you're saying to get the well driller there and do pump tests, there's a 6-month time period.
At least.
And I'll add that the comments from the health department, the health department are extensive. They list everything they want seen in the retesting. So it's all there.
So let's figure this out. Board members, any comments with regard to this at this time? No? No comment. No comments. So let's figure out a way to get everybody on a call to make a determination. I mean, I think our consultants, our preference has been to do the water quality, the water supply testing, because frankly, it was part of the EIS, and so it was also a recommendation of our consultants. But I acknowledge, what you're saying in terms of timeframes. It'd be useful to know, so this was the one person, did you reach out to 5 people? Did you reach out, sort of what was the process that this is where we
I reached
landed?
out to consultants in different counties, and everybody came back to Chuck Crover Rourke Well Drilling.
That person's available.
He's the only one that I can find that's available
Okay.
in multiple counties.
Matt, maybe you can talk to Vincent, talk to the ones you may know at MH&E.
Sure.
Maybe there's one tucked away in Milford. So.
I had a lot of things in Milford.
They have water down there?
They have
if you
a
like the
big
river.
river. They have a very large river over there. So, all right, I think this is as far as we can go tonight, but like I said, I think this is the one issue we have to get settled. and let's see where we land. So let's try and set something up between now and the next meeting.
Going to take the lead on setting that? Tad, or
Setting it
or
up.
do you setting up this call to resolve this?
I'll talk to Ashley
Okay.
and see who she thinks, who she should talk to, how do we resolve this, who needs to be on the call. I'll reach out to Ashley. Okay.
Yeah, Ashley can send an email out to everybody that needs to discuss it, and we'll make sure we're on time frame.
Okay. Very good.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, folks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda is Manuel Pillay subdivision. Hopefully I said that right. Close?
That's as well as I said.
Said it wrong, nobody would know.
This is true. Good evening, I'm Brad Cleverly from MJS Engineering.
Tell us about your project. We did look at it very briefly, but then something happened in terms of the last appearance. So here you are. So if you want to just go through an overview.
Certainly. This is existing lot with a single-family residence on it over at the end of Catskill Avenue. And what the owner would like to do is maintain the existing residence and then do a subdivision and construct an additional residence on the side of it. Each of the lots meets the zoning requirements, and it's from a bulk standpoint, very straightforward. They all meet all the setbacks, all the bulk requirements. They will maintain the existing well for this house, existing sewer connection. There will be a new well for the new house, and then a new connection into the sewer, which is in the street in Catskill Avenue.
So, Matt, you want to start with your comments?
Sure, I think they're pretty straightforward. First comment, the proposed dwelling on Lot 2 is proposed to connect to municipal sewer. We'll need approval from the county for that. And the location of the existing sewer main should be shown on the plan. The existing dwelling is currently connected. Comment 2, potable water is proposed to be provided by a private well. Section A65-8L covers what's necessary to demonstrate the suitability of that. If you just take a look at that section, should be pretty straightforward. There's some details here in comment 3. We recommend be added to the erosion control plan, pretty standard. Comment 4, there are notes in section 46 of the town code pertaining to stormwater, soil erosion, and sediment control. Those can just be copied right out of there, added to the plan. Comment 5, a tree plan is required per section 5785 of town code. Again, the requirements for that are listed there. Seeker and GML requirements, I think Ashley will get into those in her comments or memo. 7, just note the appropriate sewer district on the plan notes. And then comment 8, in section 5721.8, there's some standard notes that cover house relocation that get added to any one of the sheets in the plan set. Those are pretty much the technical comments on that. I think Ashley in her comments had picked up on a few other things to discuss.
So she did advise us on process, where we are. You're very close to the Chestertown border, so we'll obviously need to do GML referral.
exempt under the,
Oh, she said it was exempt? Okay. I thought she was saying it needed to be done. Got it.
yeah, because it's fewer than 5 lots. Sorry, it's fewer than 5 lots, and it's not in the 100-year floodplain, so.
Okay, under the exemptions. Okay. She believes it's a seeker unlisted action, so we will have to circulate a short EAF for this. And we'll have to decide when we're ready to do that. In terms of some substantive comments, we do normally get a tree plan to identify what trees are coming down, because we have a tree fee in lieu, or you replant trees, or you have to provide a fee in lieu of the tree.
Okay.
So that'll need to be done. Unless waived, there's a well test that's typically done. And I don't know whether we need one here or not.
I think what we've done in similar projects or situations is instead of obviously drilling a well on this lot and testing it, if there's information available from either the well serving the existing dwelling or an adjacent one that would demonstrate yield, I think that's been acceptable. If you just get that information, put it in a letter form or a narrative form, indicating that that's sufficient.
Okay, so if I could find the well information for the existing residence,
Yep.
that would suffice.
Yeah, and if, for example, it, demonstrated yield of 10 gallons per minute, something to that effect, if it's 1 gallon a minute, we might look for more info, but assuming that you have the info on that well,
Okay.
Would justify it.
If we can't find that, could I do the well test on the existing well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So one of the big questions we had previously was whether this road is public or private. We were looking at tax maps, and this seems to be an extension of an existing public road, but we're actually not sure. Do we know for a fact this is a public road once it gets beyond the big house?
I spoke with Bill Brown.
Okay,
The town stops maintaining this road, I think just,
right here?
no, I think even farther back,
Oh, okay,
right
right
there.
there.
Right where you see the change
Okay.
in color. The town maintains to that point. Beyond that, they do not.
Okay. So I don't know if that means open development area, 280A, variance is needed since you're creating a lot, but it's on a, I don't know what that is, a private road or a big driveway, or, this is before my time, this particular
Yeah, I'm
subdivision.
assuming that's a private road. I'd defer to Ashley on the need for the 280A variance.
So we're going to need some background in terms of what the original approval was for this. Does it allow additional subdivision? Is there some kind of road maintenance agreement for this private road? So I think for us, that's one of the bigger issues for this particular subdivision.
Okay.
I noticed on the map, you show a lot of drainage ditches. I think we just want to make sure that there aren't wetlands on the site or small wetlands, because we have our local wetland ordinance.
We had Pete Torgerson go out there, and in the letter which I attached dated July 25th, stated that he had gone to the site and determined that there are no wetlands.
So we'll probably have that checked also by our wetland scientist, just to confirm. We also do checks ourselves.
Sure.
To go to the site, but yeah, we'd like that confirmed. And then there's a question about variances, because this house is super large, and we have certain regulations about where driveways are allowed, if they're allowed in the front of a house. So I think we need to check for certain whether, I don't know if variances were possibly granted for this home, or whether it was just a building permit was issued. But now that a subdivision is occurring, it may generate the need for variances. So-
Okay, due to the existing house and its size.
Right, well, its location, the front yard, what's in the front yard, parking, we just, the lot coverage, we just need to make sure that it doesn't generate the need for variances. At least one, we think there may be, but I think we have to do a check on that.
Okay,
So, but I think for the time being, I wouldn't suggest we do much here. I think the big question mark is, and the research for you is the status of this private road. Are you allowed to do additional subdivision? Is there a roadway maintenance agreement? I think we need to know a little bit more about that.
okay.
Were you aware? Did you think it was on a town road?
When I looked at the tax map, I looked at the tax maps, and it appeared to be on a town road, because it was on its own, for all appearances, it looked like it was on a town road. So,
Right, right. Yeah, we were pondering that ourselves as we looked at different maps.
Right.
And this little kind of was like, that looks odd. And I think this is a more recent subdivision, maybe, like 10 years, I don't know.
I'll have to look back.
Yeah, I think we were looking at the tax map and it may have said the filing date. So, and Ashley may have been able to check it, but yeah, if you could do some research on that, that'd be great.
Okay,
And then we'll have some time to go out into the field, check it out, see if we see anything wet or potential wetlands and report back.
okay.
We also have our EMC go out, our Monroe Dennis, so we should send the maps to him and see if he wants to go out there. He'll probably go out there when there's a tree plan. So I think that the sooner that's done, the better, because then we can get them involved, and then sometimes we send it to Karen. This is a
Correct.
small subdivision, I don't know that we will, but we just need to know what trees are coming down, so again, we can check consistency with our tree law.
Okay. So we just need the trees in the location that will be disturbed.
I think anywhere where there's a disturbance, yes.
Okay,
Section in the code, I think, specifies what diameter trees and larger need to be picked up on the property.
right.
And then it also discusses what applies to tree removal within the footprint of the project.
Okay,
So I think it's spelled out pretty good there.
sure.
So fire services, I assume they can go down the private drive? There must be an easement or something for this subdivision. And the only reason I'm mentioning it is we're adding another house at the end, and I was trying to remember.
Want to look at,
The way this ends, that turnaround is almost looking like it's partly on a private lot.
right, we may want to look at the emergency vehicle.
Right.
Oh.
And depending on what your findings determine, I don't know whether this is, I don't know if this is a public right-of-way. This is looking like it's on a separate lot. So I don't know. I know there were some paper roads out there.
Yeah, from here, in this direction, appears to be a paper road, because the road does end right here in front of the house.
But that goes on, but again, just for fire access, you will need to show some kind of limits, if you have it on one of the sheets. Do you show the limits of disturbance in a theoretical home?
Yeah, it's on the erosion and sediment control plan.
Okay. So, what size dwelling are you using? 30 by 50? It's about 1,500 footprint
Yeah,
plus the
1,500
garage?
footprint, roughly 3,000 square feet.
Okay, that's generally reasonable. We tend to have bigger houses being built. So we want to be reasonable in terms of laying out what the limits of disturbance are. All right.
Will we need to schedule a public hearing?
We will. We'll have to go through seeker first, do the neg deck, and then we can open a public hearing.
Okay,
So I think this is preliminary. We need some answers to these questions, and then we can go from there.
Sounds like the road research and then getting the tree plan would be the next helpful steps.
Priorities, okay?
okay,
And then once you have those, we'll get you back on the agenda.
okay, very good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Good night.
Good.
All right, so, at this point, we have minutes left. So Dylan is back. I don't know if any of these were able to
Can't
approve,
say I've,
that you've remembered, or?
no, I can't say I've gone over August, but
Yeah, I haven't gone over the August, we got
Okay.
those fairly recently. And you were not here probably June and March, or at least June. Let me bring them up, let me see, and then if you'd like to head out, Matt, you're welcome to. So we don't keep you here looking at our minutes.
I'm gonna go home and hopefully dinner's waiting, we'll see.
There you go. I know there's no dinner for me, because my dogs can't. I've tried,
'em.
but
That would be something.
they can eat, though. Yeah, they definitely do that. All right, where are my minutes? I try to put them in little.
Thank you.
I-
Pleasure meeting you.
All right, so what was the first one?
13th,
June 13th, 2024. Okay, I have the Word version of this. Was Jeff, Dylan, and Bob. Still, yeah, so,
right? Next one is, September 12th.
12th, 2024, here it is. This was Jeff's, I don't know if you read it or if you, I don't think you worked on it, right? But this was Jeff, oh, here we go, Jeff, Pat, and Dylan.
Yeah, I mean, I bet.
Okay, so if you guys are ready to make a motion? Okay. Someone go.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes from September 12th, 2024. May I have a second?
Second.
All in
Jeff
favor?
Manson.
All in favor? Is that-
Yeah, go ahead,
Get me
roll
all
call.
confused. Jeff
Aye.
Manson, Bonnie Franson,
Abstain.
Pat Shea,
Aye.
and Dylan Penn.
Aye.
All right, yeah, got one off.
Yay! March 13th,
Small things, small things. What's the next one?
March 13th.
Okay, this was another Jeff's because I was out. I put the Jeff when I'm out. All right, Jeff, Pat, and Dylan.
Also reviewed.
Okay? Me too. All right, so go for it.
Okay, I'll also make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes from March 13th, 2025.
Second.
Dylan Penn,
Aye.
Pat Shea,
Aye.
Bonnie Franson. 17th, 2025.
So I will make a motion that we adopt the minutes of June 17, 2025. May I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Pat Shea,
Aye.
Absent.
And, no. These are minutes that have been revised. Okay. You'll have to, there was something where it was unclear. Village of Woodbury hasn't made any decisions or comments as of yet. I think this had to do with. Oh. And then it just kind of died, the minutes.
it could have been during when I was on, between board docs and non-board docs and.
Yeah, just make
copy and
sure.
pasting.
Because if it turns out there's something missing, then we need to get that and then we'll reapprove it.
All right, I'll check it.
All right, so that's for the June 17th. And then next,
August 14th.
oh, we won't have that yet. Okay, so we'll try and tackle that. We will tackle that for November. So at this point, we have August and September to handle,
Nope, you have, yeah, and then you have,
and June last. Okay. Well, we're pretty much done with last year. We just need to, and we're almost up to date this year, so we're getting good. Okay. All right. So if no one has any other business, I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays, any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.